Okay, we got
Live-ish.
All right. We're live. Okay. How'd you like Kaulu?
I liked Kaulu. If you guys haven't watched the video yet, check out the link. I'm sure we'll put it somewhere. I have a recency bias. I still really like it. I still liked everything about it, but after more thought, it's too far for me still.
Oh yeah. So in
Yeah.
the video we just did this past week, new construction Kaulu. I was kind of prodding Mahe, like, you live here, huh? You do it, huh? It's too nice not to, right? And you were challenged.
I was
And so that's why you were
challenged.
like, after further
thought, I just can't. It's too far for me. It's too far for the things that I like to do and would like to continue doing. I don't
Okay.
want to change my routine that much to live West Side. So
Yeah. Have you been to it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
It's nice, yeah.
I went and took my mom through it to
Oh, yeah?
consider whether or not that would be something she might want to do, because it's actually close to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too close, but close.
And there's those ground floor 2-bedroom townhomes.
That one, the model on the very end.
Yeah, the end units.
underneath the reserve upstairs. Yep.
Mhm.
She really likes it.
You guys might do it.
Possibly comparing that between Nahele.
So Kenny's mom's just moving here from the mainland, so that's the context behind that. But so today we're going to talk about Kaulu,
shipping to Hawaii.
shipping to Hawaii,
and 2024 goals.
2024 goals. All right. As always, what? As always, leave your comments in the comment section. We're gonna start with the questions from the last live. So whether you're watching this after the fact or you're watching it live, leave us your comments so that or questions in the comment section so that we can address them, answer them. In fact, to stay true to our word, we're gonna start with some of the old stuff from last time. You sent in an email again?
he did.
Got it.
The audacity.
3 leftover questions.
Okay.
If you ever want to lose it, email it.
Okay, let's start with those questions.
So at Alfred Manzano 680. How's it, Alfred? Hey guys, next video, could you describe the whole process of shipping your car to from the mainland Bay Area to Oahu? Mahalo. So
Shipping your car.
yep, it's part of the shipping to Oahu or shipping to the islands.
So I did mine. Did you ship an extra car? Oh, you couldn't,
We-
right?
we
Because of
did
the way
not.
it worked out.
Yeah, I'll
He
give you
did
the
it in the
other side.
military, but I did mine non-military paid. And you just go online. Here's the thing: it's all going on the same Matson ship, whether Aloha Moving LLC or Bay Area Moving Sacramento, Nebraska Moving LLC. They're gonna moving logistics world it's a tough business, and they're all gonna end up on the same vessel. So you want for my car, I'm just finding the better deal. Now maybe we're working on getting some movers on here to actually have this conversation. But for my car, it's just the same deal because I'm pretty sure the whole warranty process goes through Matson, not the mover that originated. My bad. Not the mover that originated your move. So you're gonna get your scratches and dings and all that stuff would go through Matson anyway. So that being the case, just go online and see who has the best deal. Because the way it works is moving company A might say, well, we've met our quota. You want to move your car with us? $1,500. And then moving company B might be like, well, we just purchased I don't know exactly how it works, but we just purchased a bundle of 2,000 vehicles and we need to really get some off before the end of this quarter or this year or whatever. And so they might be running a special to gain traction and they're going to get on the same ship, one for $1,500, one for $1,200. You might as well go to $1,200.
Right. Yeah, I don't know that there's you have a moving company on your side and then there's a pickup here. Detailed, I do know like you have to have quarter tank or less.
Yeah.
Got to
Yeah,
be as
yeah.
clean as possible.
Mhm.
They're gonna check all dings and cover their liabilities. So just
Depends who
know
you
all
get
that.
on that.
And I think
Because in Hawaii, not depends which mover, but depends at the port who you get.
right.
And
When you go to turn it in and
they can be super strict. They could say like your car's not coming on.
Yeah.
When we shipped ours from California to here, they were pretty lenient.
Yeah.
they were like, yeah, it's not that clean, but that's okay. Maybe
Yeah.
I get a little more than quarter, that's okay. But when my wife was this 18 years, 17 years ago or something, when we shipped a car from Hawaii to the mainland.
Mhm.
They were super strict about it.
Did they
Mhm.
make her go drive around until
Drive around and
Mhm.
clean the car again. And I think, if I remember correct, I could be making this up, but it was like raining in there. You still it needs to be cleaner. Just that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But all right, what's
So,
the next question?
Second question is from Old Eyes at CGCG41. Can you talk about the pros and cons about leasehold properties?
Okay. Pros, the big pro that everybody is like, oh, it's cheap. Like,
The big pro,
uh-huh.
leasehold is the best. Leasehold is the best thing. If you own if you're the
you own
person
the lease.
leasing the
Yeah.
land, if you own the lease,
Lessor, not lessee.
yeah.
Holder.
But other than that, it
It's
sucks.
just,
Usually.
yeah, it's the only thing that for sure will depreciate every year. You can guarantee it's going to depreciate. So if you want your home to gain some equity, if you're thinking like from an investment standpoint, not even for like even me, if I'm trying to occupy something, I still want to have an investor cap on and think like, oh, I would like that to go up in value or at least
Right.
stay the same. The longer you hold on to it, the harder it is to offload it. There's just, you don't own the land, so you have to get rid of it. There can be lease renegotiations, which at that point, your lease fee, which is another thing that people don't know about. You got your mortgage. Now, I mean, if it's even something mortgageable, if the lease is
Right.
30 years plus, if you have that, plus whatever the HOA for the building is, plus a monthly lease rent, which like most people don't even know is a thing, but that's another fee that you pay on top monthly. And when you renegotiate the lease, then that can also go up at that time too. So
I got tempted towards one recently. I was talking with another guy I know, my bowlerhead brethren from the party.
you got to be more specific.
Yeah.
Like-
I don't want to give him shine here, but we were talking about investments, and he was like, "Why don't you just get this leasehold and the payment is this, the lease is this," and I'm looking at it and I'm like, "Okay, the payment is here." And with the lease and everything, and then the rent would be here, and if I factor that over 20 years, that's a lot of money, and it could cash flow better today. But when I factored for all of the loss and appreciation, to your point, like all the money I'm not gaining in equity and appreciation and tax advantage and stuff, I was like, it's just every time I want to look at it and figure out how to make it work, it never does.
yeah.
In theory, if there was a unit that rented for an exorbitant amount,
Mhm.
it could make sense,
Mhm.
but I've never found it.
Yeah.
So only for an older person or someone who just wants to control, like a controlled rental for a long
Yeah.
time, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Nothing to add. There's pros, not very many. Cons, mostly all of them. There's a couple of follow-ups to both the car shipping and then also another leasehold.
Okay.
On
And remember,
on
if
the
you're just jumping into the live, put your questions, comments in the comment section, and we'll address them now. And if we don't get to any, we will address them next time.
Yeah.
So the first question was, give us some specific details on how to move, how to ship the car to the island. Do you need to rust-proof cars in Hawaii, just like what they do winter salt in northern states? No, but I think salt is something you might want to consider.
Depends where you
protecting against,
live, yeah.
depending on
Yeah.
where
Where
you're
do
at
you
on the island.
live? How much you care?
Yeah.
It's most places in Hawaii, on any island. So I look at an island, right? I'm trying to find a circle or something, but you look at an island, and on the east side is the windward side, and so they're all wet on the east sides of these islands, Big Island, Oahu, etc. And on the west side, it's drier, but if you're right near the ocean on the west side, then you have the salt and the sea spray. The north shore of all the islands, a lot of sea spray and salt. So more than half of the situations on any of the islands, it's going to be wet and salty.
Mhm.
Rarely is it like just dry, not near the ocean. And so cars rust in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a part of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Salt
And-
accelerates it. So yeah, I don't know rust proof specifically, but
I don't even know a
paint
person
protection,
who's done that.
undercarriage
Like you can
protection.
powder coat your whole vehicle. That's expensive
Mhm.
Yeah.
and probably heavy too.
Yeah.
when my brother, because so we came from kind of a, poor mainland family in Florida.
Mhm.
Like him even more than me, because different mom, and they were dirt roads,
Yeah.
Deliverance.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And this guy, that's I got two sides. I have my Hawaii side, my Florida side, and when he came to Hawaii, he was like, "Man, everyone drives nice cars here." He's like, "People don't drive old cars here," and I think it was a combination of a couple of things. I think it is that even though Oahu it's a metro concrete jungle disguised as a tropical lush thing.
Mhm.
So there's that. Like in cities, you don't see as many like Mater from Cars.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't see that as much in a city anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But
We
you
don't
see
got
it
as
out
much
in the
work
country.
trucks,
yeah,
know?
not as
Yeah.
much work trucks and
Right,
stuff.
right.
But so there's that, and also I think just like kind of the Asian
I was
culture,
thinking that too.
the Japan, like in
It's like you just
Japan, you're
gotta
not
take
even
care.
allowed to have rust, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that,
I never seen Rust once.
you never saw Russ once? He lived there for 8 years,
Yeah.
and like don't you get like it's like a safety check thing? Like you can't dishonor Japan by having a rusty car.
Yeah.
But I think it's a mix of those two things. You don't see rusty cars as much here, but you do sometimes, and it will rust. Is the point. Yeah.
Got to take care of them. Pretty good segue into that. So second question, that was from Rambler, by the way. Thank you, Rambler. And he has one more. But to Vaughn, for you, can't have anything in the car. Absolutely, yes. Your car needs to be empty as far as shipping it, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's not. You want to sneak in like clothes and stuff, and the
right.
trunk cannot.
Yeah, this is not a Diddy move. Don't try to overweigh your car to get a few extra a couple extra bucks.
Nobody knows a Diddy.
Yeah.
For the
If you're moving
non-military.
yourself in the military, that's what a Diddy move is.
You try and
We've
make
done
things
I was like, what,
heavy.
P. Diddy? Like,
You try and make things heavy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Weigh it first empty, then fill up the tank and put everything you can in it, then weigh it again and then ship it, and they pay you back.
oh, interesting.
I didn't say
Pro tip.
that.
not that you would
Right.
know.
Not that
Yeah.
I would know. I just heard from a friend. Rambler's second question. Second similar question. Are you allowed to import car from Japan, Australia, like Nissan Skyline? I think so, yeah. Because I see a lot of
There's
right-hand
been a
drive.
change recently. Like I don't know if you can get a right-hand GTR Skyline, but there are all those little Japanese like mini cars now that are right-hand drive.
Mhm.
I don't know the rules. I don't know if they're old enough now, maybe, because you can import
Possibly.
classic cars.
Right.
But one thing to that point, I don't think you can import like a diesel Tacoma Hilux. I don't know that you can import those. I still think those aren't allowed for some reason.
Okay. I've seen some on the island. I don't know if maybe that's through like the JPM dealership or something
Maybe.
like that, but love seeing those cars. The Greers are actually bringing a car from Japan, by the way, too. So just TBD. Leasehold renews. Rambler, another question. Renews every 99 years. Like, how do they do it in Europe? Or is that how they do it in Europe? Or the same like they do it in Europe?
It depends.
I think that's how the
I
question
don't know Europe.
I don't know anything about that, about Europe, but like 99-year lease here just means Hawaiian homestead to me. So that's a 99-year lease term here, but every different building will have a different lease term. And they may not, outright put that on the information when you're looking at it, but you can just ask us, reach out to our team, and then we can let you know when either the lease renewal or renegotiation is, or when it ends. And but a quick, easy way to figure that out is the cheaper it is, the shorter the time left on the lease. So that's a pretty a very general, like, how much time is left? Oh, if it's $100,000 and it should be 2 million, then it's probably like a year or two left. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that, I've never had a time where a property was really like, wow, it's listed for so cheap. And it happened. Like it's a leasehold or it's an agent being cute because they know they have the property that everyone wants. So they list it way under, create a bidding war, and it sells for 20% over. Yeah.
Last question leftover from the last live. At Arepas 2012. Aloha. Love your channel and all the islands. Saw your Kuile play segment. What do you think of this as an investment property since it won't be ready for a few years? Mahalo.
Almost always when you buy pre-construction for these buildings in Honolulu, by the time they're done, they've appreciated. So
Almost always.
almost
We can never
almost.
guarantee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So from an appreciation play, Kobayashi building, I like it.
Mhm.
Can you put 20% total
Yes.
down and
Yeah.
have that sit stagnant for that long?
Mhm.
Is that something that you're capable of? So it just depends. And then how will it play out over 10 and 20 and 30 years? I think positive as long as the association doesn't go awry. Anytime I see a condo where they're like, oh, they bought it 10 or 20 years ago and it's still worth the same, it's either that it's in a building that's partially leasehold or the association fees have like worked against the appreciation value
Mhm.
for a period of time. So in general, I like it. And if I wanted something, I mean, if you want to be, Waikiki, Kapahulu kind things, like
Mhm.
there's nothing better, right?
And then you saw with the restaurateur, they released that.
Yeah, they
information.
released it now,
Yeah.
right? Aoki.
Yeah. So like Doraku, herringbone, like,
Was that one of the one you guys thought?
It was either that or
or
It was Roy.
Royce. Yeah.
Roy or Aoki, yeah.
I was thinking Royce. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry, I jinxed it. There is one last one. How hard is it for entrepreneurs? Simple question. That's from Khalid Gamer.
In Hawaii,
How hard is it for entrepreneurs?
it's hard out there for a G.
That's so funny. That's like what I said out
Yeah.
there. I was like, it's hard in these streets. Like,
Yeah.
Probably a little harder than where you're at. Just maybe
well, it
not.
can be. It's a small community where a lot of word of mouth happens too. So if you're, it depends. Like, are you coming over here and you're brand new and you are like new to the game? There's less numbers, less people to sell your stuff to. It kind of depends. What product are you in? What line of business or like what kind of business do you have? Is it an outdoorsy business? Maybe that would thrive more here than it would in wherever you're from.
Yeah.
There's so many factors, but it ain't easy.
Yeah, I think about this from the real estate context, right? Because I think about we could expand and own our own mortgage place or title and escrow, property management. There's a lot of ways that a real estate entrepreneur can expand, do flipping, etc. And when I look at some of these mainland markets,
Mm.
I'm like, oh, it seems like deals are just everywhere to be had. Also, cost of doing business, like cost of an office, it does seem easier when I look at it from the mainland, but I think that's probably also a very unfair to some extent.
Sorry about that.
So unfair point of view, because those people who are grinding in those like in St. Louis, Missouri, or like in even a more tertiary market, like instead of Nashville, Tennessee, Knoxville or Chattanooga, I'm sure those people are like, no, there's a lot of people out here trying to make money. But one thing I'll say about Hawaii is it is so hard to make it here that there is an entrepreneurial spirit sometimes that certain people have, and side hustles. I feel like in Alabama, people could just get by.
Oh, we have a lot of side hustle.
Side up.
Everyone's got a
Sure.
side hustle, right? And like,
You kind of like need, because you need multiple sources of income. You need multiple lines of income here to make it. So we just are like a side hustle. Like your friend makes cupcakes, or
Yeah.
somebody makes signs for baby luau's or whatever.
Yeah.
Like everybody's got like their main gig, but also like a side hustle, because it just kind of is like what it takes. So I think our community, just by and large, because of the nature of the cost of living here, like there is an entrepreneurial spirit. Like there is a lot of doTERRA. There is a lot of,
Yeah,
just
for
all
sure.
of those
Mhm.
things, because it kind of is needed. If you had that, like, I want to do more in Hawaii, a lot of times it's, I got to do more. It calls for that. So,
Right.
and that is another thing, is like, sometimes we're a little oversaturated when it comes to an entrepreneurial, like whatever it might be. Like you think you got a good whatever, like, oh, you want to do a food truck with the whatever, I'm like, everybody's doing that. Like
Yeah.
there's a ton of people already doing that. So
That's what I was trying to. It's kind of it might be harder here.
Yeah.
because so many people are having to hustle.
Mhm.
Whereas in Alabama, you could get by working at Waffle House.
Yeah.
You know,
And then that's it.
and that's it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to hustle. You go home and watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that over here, you know. Oh,
All right.
Any other questions?
There's one more live that we've covered the leftovers, if you will, from last live.
okay.
If you live on Oahu and are going to go on vacation local, where would you go? Which island? What sites, activities do you like to see?
Local. So you meaning in Hawaii, but not
But
on this.
not on Oahu.
Yeah, says vacation local, but which island? So could be
If I live on Oahu.
Island hop staycations.
Depends.
Yeah.
Depends, kids or no kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long I need, but probably Big Island for me. We just, our last live one or two ago became like a Big Island live. So let's not do that. But it's just beautiful and energetic and just
Yeah.
you can go beach here. So it's not that
Mhm.
you need to find the best beach there, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because they're lacking in beaches a little bit. You can go to mountains and
Yeah.
farms and
Yeah.
amazing views and snow. And
Mhm.
I'm gonna go Big Island.
Yeah, I would say Big Island or Kauai because Maui is like same as Oahu. Like if you're trying to do a vacation, unless you know people like me.
What
you know,
about Haleakala, like road, like Kula?
that's cool, but it's just like a 1 day thing, Like you could
Yeah.
do that in a few hours, and then for the
Yeah.
rest of the time, it's same.
Kauai,
Like,
you can. Well, the thing about if you want to get outdoors and
Kauai is different.
hike and
yeah,
hunt
it's
and
just like
stuff.
all the nature stuff,
Yeah.
like that we just don't really like. We can have a little bit of it if you go around and look for it, but that's just like Kauai is all of that. So
yeah.
it's Maui for me.
Maui.
Yeah,
But
It
you
just-
have sentimental,
we've got,
yeah.
There's an attachment there. We
Yeah.
we actually booked. We're not gonna go. Just life happened, but we actually booked Maui for a long weekend. We were gonna stay at the same place that we had our honeymoon at,
Mm.
Yeah.
and just revisit that, but also open our eyes and see if there's anything we could do while we were there. Make it a little bit of a service stop. Just
Mhm.
keeping Maui in our mind, and there's a different vibe there for us. It's just enough of a vacation for us where it just feels completely different going up to Haleakala and that change of temperature, whether or not there's snow or just getting cold, seeing it, maybe going up there at night and watching the sunset, or going back down the Hana side, or coming back around towards Kanapali and doing the winery
Yeah.
in the middle of the mountain there.
There's a winery.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pineapple wine.
Oh, like
I can't even think of the name of it because it's been
Mm.
12 years.
But yeah, Maui,
We
what a
gotta
lot
go.
of people do. I said this before on the channel, but people, when I lived in California, people would be like, "Oh, Maui's our special place.
Yeah.
Maui's special to us." Like
Yeah.
as if there is a borderless earth, and on that earth there was this place Maui that just
Mhm.
called them. There's a
Yeah.
lot of that. Maui specifically.
Yeah. I love Maui, and that's home really, but it's not like my vacation spot because when I go to Maui, I'm like, gotta go see Auntie Fran, gotta go see Lindsay, gotta go see Elijah, gotta go see everybody, gotta see Rachel, gotta go do this, gotta go do that. Make sure the kids go spend time with their dad, make sure they spend time with their friends that they used to go to school with. So it's not like a relaxing.
It's a bit of bias. You
Yeah.
have a different experience.
Yeah. So it's not like
But yeah, for vacationing, whatever. Any of them.
Yeah.
Turtle Bay. If you want to stay on Oahu, go
yeah,
Turtle
I
Bay.
was like, go stay at the condos in Turtle Bay.
It's
That was cool.
expensive though.
If you go Airbnb though,
Cheaper.
it's
but
much
it
cheaper.
ain't cheap.
Yeah.
though.
It's not like cheap, but it's
Yeah.
way less than Turtle Bay. Like
Yeah.
I like Pokai
Yeah.
Bay. Just go stay Army rest camp. One of
For
those little
military.
cottages
Yeah.
if you're military.
mhm.
Anything West Side. I'm a sunset guy, not a sunrise guy. I'm a morning person, but I'm not gonna wake up and just stare at the sun. Like I'm a morning person because I wake up with energy and try to get stuff done.
Mm.
Yeah.
So when I'm ready to chill, I like to watch a sunset. So
Yeah.
any island West Side. Let's go.
Yeah.
Any island west side. There you go.
Pokai Bay. Fun fact, I just learned this at my son's school yesterday. Pokai Bay is named after Chief Pokai, who is said to be the first person to bring a coconut tree to the islands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I learned that from a couple of kids from Waianae doing projects on their Ahupua'a.
Is it a
That's
Pokai
awesome.
tree? No,
No, I don't
they
think so.
never did that.
No,
That didn't happen.
no,
Okay.
no, they did. I'll tell you about it
It-
after. It was funny.
oh,
Like
okay.
they're funny.
Oh, I got to talk to Pat.
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, interesting.
Interesting.
Small island.
Yeah.
We are current on questions.
We're current on
let's
questions?
catch a topic.
All right. So on Kaulu, it's kind of been on my mind. I'm
Yeah.
like, I could live there.
Mm-hmm. Could you? Could Michelle?
I don't think yes. Well, my wife doesn't like change, so she's not gonna do it. But like if she went on a vacation, came home, and I was like, oh, we don't live there anymore. I rented our house and we moved us. She would love the house. She would very quickly get used to being right next to
All the stuff.
all the stuff.
Yeah.
The holy
Like,
quadrant.
Yeah.
like
It's
Target all the
actually like
time.
95 things, not
Yeah.
just
Yeah, Target
Yeah.
all the time and
Mhm.
etc. She would get tired of the heat,
Mm-hmm.
and for her, she wants to be in our, certain school district.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. Other than, if it weren't for the school, I think we'd make it work.
Mm.
Not that that's a bad school for you or whatever, but my wife she's substitute teaching at my kid's school today.
Yeah.
So it'd be hard for us.
different scenarios.
Super nice though.
Yeah. And then your mom was kind of
Yeah.
considering, but then, so let's talk about like the difference between
Sure.
like the condos and townhouses in Kaulu versus like a ho'opili, like a nahele.
Mhm.
So your mom liked nahele better, right?
She so weird. Like
She like Nahele better?
the answer to the question is no, but
Mhm.
she would choose Nahele
Mm-hmm.
over Kaulu.
Why?
She likes the townhome style. She likes garden vibe. The garage concept is something she's used to, single family home in Sacramento. So how much am I downsizing? How much am I compromising to make the move out here? And so floor plans kind of same, not a big difference in floor plan. Can be a bigger square footage, 2 at Kaulu. She likes the fact that it's ground level and single story, so no stairs. I won't say her age. I won't do that to mom, but she's of an age where stairs is a thing. And so Nahele becomes, not because she loves it, the exterior and kind of the elevation is not her style. She likes the more traditional townhome type of look to Kaulu, but the elevator,
Mm-hmm.
the 4th floor option with Diamond Head and town view, she saw that. She was like, well, view. She's never, where we've always lived has never been a view thing.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, no, mom, step out onto the lanai and look that way. And she's like, oh, I get it. And she is a morning person as well. She could do coffee and watch it come up over Diamond Head. So it is
Ah,
a
shit.
thing for her. And she's like, okay. And the elevator helps because then groceries or anything she's carrying, and she doesn't have any stairs. Price point is a thing for her. She's a retirement age, so
Mm-hmm.
fixed income, all of that makes more sense to Nahele, but she does like Kaulu better. It's closer to us. That's always a thing. The grandkids, how much can she help?
Is
So
it closer?
it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's straight back down Roosevelt into Kamakana
Okay.
versus
Wait,
maybe if she cut through the mall.
yeah. leave us a comment. Where are you located? If you're in Hawaii, or if you're from the mainland, where were you from? Like, give us some context, of your living experience and how important a view would be to you. That's a thing. Sometimes clients come, and usually more so than mainland clients, because
Yeah.
Hawaii people are just desensitized. They're like,
Mhm.
we go beach on weekends, no matter.
Yeah.
You're one of them, actually.
I 100% am.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll be like, oh, damn, that's so pretty. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's there every day.
Yeah. But for the most part, you're like, yeah. Like, I live here. I've always
I was
so.
like, that's a junk rainbow. That's not even like a full rainbow.
Yeah.
That's not even a double rainbow. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
There is, you can score the rainbow. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long to get into that.
So, but some clients come to us and view is everything.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, I'm not moving to Hawaii and not having a view.
Mm-hmm.
And me, having been born on the mainland, and Kenny, like from the
Mhm.
mainland, full
Mhm.
on, more recent transplant, I get it.
Mhm.
I get it. Like, I'm not gonna move all the way out there and live in Eva and not have a view. But I get your point too of like, because if for you, is it kind of like if I had the view every day,
Yeah.
even more worse, I would not appreciate it than
Yeah.
if I see it on the weekends when I go beach or whatever.
Yeah. It just isn't something that is like centralized or important to me because I mean, we live in Hawaii. Like, it's just not going to be high on my list of priorities. Like, I'm not going to pay more for that when I'm like, literally, I could just like drive 10 minutes to anything and see that and like sit at a park for 5 hours if I wanted to. I could go to Kapilani Park. And if I really needed like a heavy dose of Diamond Head, you know, I could just do that. I don't think that it would be to me worth it to pay like $300,000 extra or something for that. You know?
That was us being the most recent transplant. We bought in Eva because of the home itself and what the amenities were in the neighborhood. And it was okay to take a 10 or 15, 20-minute drive to a view, a hike, a waterfall, to the beach, all of that. The catch, the trap is, do you actually do that?
Do it? Yeah. But I think it's just the trap is the same when you're there closer because you're like, oh shoot, that's even worse now because like here we are
and
we
you start grading your own view that you
for
paid
all of this,
$300,000
so I
for.
could be close to this, and I'm not even doing it. Like, I think something we have to like remember is that at the end of the day, it's an island. It's small. Like, it's not difficult for us to get out and go do things. You just gotta like make the time commitment to go do it.
I don't sometimes.
I hardly do do. Like,
you know, those novel things. But when I do them, like I went to a concert at the Shell and I was like, oh, which is this outdoor amphitheater by Diamond Head. I was like, well, I should do this every time there's a show. I should go. And then we went Haleiwa with the kids, and that's just, you get complacent. You know, you just get in a routine, and especially have kids playing sports, etc. But anyways, interested. Let me know your guys' view on views. Is it the number one thing? Like, I wouldn't want to not have a view. Okami dog.
Yep.
What's up, Okami
Let's see.
dog?
Okami dog. Happy to catch a live. Happy you're catching us. Let's see, Seattle. We live next to the sea, but with no views of anything from our house, just buildings. So our windows are closed all the time. Fair.
See,
I like my windows closed. I want controlled air. I mean, sometimes it's nice to have the windows open, but if I had to pick one, close those windows.
Yeah. Windows closed, AC on, but blinds open because I like natural
Oh,
light.
me too. If you had to choose one, windows open
windows
all day.
open 100%.
Yeah.
But also, like, we showed this house in like Kailua yesterday, and it was actually a very, I'm not gonna say it because maybe we'd be in competition later for it, but very quiet street, you know, and like Kyle is a very windows closed, like I need the noise from the AC, you know, like that kind. But it was like windows open, the noise from the palm trees blowing and like birds chirping. I was like, oh dang, like we have different kind noise here. So I want the windows open. I want to hear the birds, you know, I want to hear like the trees rustling around. Like, it's not just like I like open air, but it's like, oh, that's like a nice, like, I want to hear that. I would rather have that as white noise than like my AC going.
Natural noise versus white noise.
I get it. For me, I get allergies. So it's when you open your windows, the higher the moisture level, you get more dust mites. And so there's that.
Just take some Allegra or something.
I do, but still. What's the other thing? When I guess your house gets dirtier.
Yeah, it just does.
There's dirt flying around.
Yeah.
And then those are the things.
Maybe not open your windows in new construction.
Yeah.
You've seen those window ledges, but
oh yeah.
Yeah. So if I had to pick one, I would go. Yeah. But I do. You're right. I think for whatever reason, we'd always open our windows on Sunday afternoons. That's when my parents are like clean house, do yard, barbecue, and there was like a windows open.
Yeah.
And I like windows open sometimes.
Okami dog, sorry you don't have any views of the sound. It sucks. I love Seattle. And there's some great views out there.
Oh, I was like, views of the sound. How'd you get views of sound?
Oh, hello, mental.
What is she talking
you cannot
about?
see sound. Like,
Puget Sound.
Puget Sound
Yeah.
specifically.
Hey, I noticed last time.
Whoa!
Yeah, so good talking to
Take
you.
it easy.
I noticed last time Kenji cut off the live while I was trying to tell everyone there
Oh,
to
did
hold him
he?
accountable. He was like,
No, I didn't.
if you watch it, it cuts off. Like I'm like, hey, hold Kenji accountable. We're supposed to have a new montage on our website, and then it's like it goes off.
I let it go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh,
So if you made it to the end of the live last time, I asked you, help me hold my teammate accountable. We're supposed to get our website supposed to get a new update. This whole video here, you go to coreteamhawaii.com. This should be a new video showcasing, Hawaii real estate and our team.
He's like,
It's already sent. I sent it. It's done. It's sent.
oh, you
Okay.
did do
Yeah,
it.
but
Oh, so we got to hold somebody else accountable then.
No.
Smith.
No.
It should be up there.
Okay.
all right. There are a couple more questions.
Don't watch it. It's old.
It's a rerun.
Mortis, is squatting a problem on East Big Island vacation homeowners who leave their homes vacant 3-6 months a year?
I think it depends on where. Certain parts of like Hawaiian Paradise Park, like I think there's some squatting over there. It depends on the type of home too, the type of home and the location. Depends. It's not our backyard, but I think it depends on the neighborhood.
Okay. Rambler's asking if you're comfortable talking about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, can talk about jiu-jitsu.
If comfy, can you talk about how it affected your job and your relationship?
My job and my relationship. What do you mean? Let me
Well,
know. Elaborate.
I feel like time constraint wise, like I think it depends on who you are. Like with anything, like how committed are you? How obsessed are you? Like how much of your brain bandwidth is it going to take up? Because it could either be great for your relationship of like here I get this like release and I get to get out my scratch that itch, do all of that, and then I come home, I'm happier, I feel fitter, I feel healthier. Or it could be like I never see my other half because all I do is jujitsu all the time. So
I'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to we did shipping a little bit. Someone had a specific shipping question. I'll talk about shipping a little, and then 2024 outlook and plans. But jiu-jitsu, my marriage was struggling with jiu-jitsu. My jobs were fine. I was in the Coast Guard for a lot of my jiu-jitsu intent, like my obsession. And so it encroached upon my Coast Guard career, but that's government. Like you spend a lot of time not doing anything anyway. So I trained at lunch, I taught at lunch, and then I trained at night. And I remember my wife saying, you're so obsessed. And for me, I was like, I provide, I'm not cheating, and I'm here. Like those, like I'm to a man, I'm like, it's like Jesus and then me. Like
that's the bare minimum, man.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's just.
But to a man, I'm like, I'm
Boxes are
present,
checked.
I'm with you, and I provide. And like, what more like could you want me to do? And she's like, you're never here. I'm like, I'm always here. She's like, you are never here. You're always in jiu-jitsu land, whether physically or mentally. And I had a business. So my core team Hawaii before was this jiu-jitsu business, and it just took over my life. And yeah, so that was jiu-jitsu for me.
The passion pours out and then it cuts you out of some other things in life, right? So it's,
jiu-jitsu is a thing though. Like I've been intensely into basketball, surfing, boxing,
this
jiu-jitsu.
taps on another question. So keep.
A few of those things in the Coast Guard, real estate, whatever. But jiu-jitsu and surfing are like, even I know hoopers, basketball, like that becomes your identity. You're wearing Jordans and that's your whole life. But surfing and jiu-jitsu, there's something different about those two. It just takes over your whole being. If it can.
Mhm.
So it did.
Yep. what type of sports are big on the islands? Baseball, football, soccer. Which sports do teens play scholarship to go to mainland university?
Well, if you had to say the three, what?
Volleyball, baseball, football.
What?
Yeah. Why?
No
What?
soccer?
I don't know any soccer players.
See,
so,
that just
yeah.
shows her experience because
Yeah.
soccer is probably the number one sport.
I mean,
Should I
Hawaii.
go get Jody?
so what? Like everybody I know
The
is like
one.
I have. If you're talking about like to advance and where the competition is, like me personally, I have like multiple friends who went and played in the Olympics
For
from
what?
for volleyball. From
Mhm.
being just a kid from Hawaii, as
Really?
yeah, a state that is obsessed with volleyball. Where
We
like,
are?
are you joking?
Yeah.
Like,
I
yes.
don't know any.
When
the only
you
people I
start
see play
volleyball here,
are like at the park with the speakers going and
dude, like,
everybody wearing.
it's aggressive. Like went to Junior Olympics. I was like already knew how to rotate, play every position. Take score, car, all that stuff. By the time I was like 11, and
what
then
are the
I'd
names
go
of the volleyball clubs?
A6. That's the biggest one. They siphon everybody into UH. Like they're sponsors of UH. Like that's probably one of the biggest ones.
Oh, interesting. You heard of that before?
It just depends. Like my freaking like Tama, Miyashiro, and like Evan, who played for UH. Like all these people who, and like my brothers played volleyball too. So I was already in that lane. But
Yeah.
like they like Tama, who I grew up playing with, like coaches the Olympics now.
Really?
Yes.
I think that's unique. I don't know anyone who plays volleyball at a high level.
There's like tons of high level. And when you are like a volleyball player in Hawaii, like if you're 12 and you're starting, like girl, you're lapped already. Like kids have already been playing since they were like 8 years old.
Really?
Yes.
Where do these kids live?
Everywhere. Club volleyball is so like even Joey, my daughter, like I brought her over when we came over and we like went to like a club, practice. And I was like, okay, don't worry. But like on Oahu, it's a little bit different from Maui. Like these girls have been playing probably together, as a team for a long time. So don't be like, overwhelmed. And if it's not your thing, it's not your thing, but it's a little bit different. It ain't them out there running drills. It's like they know how to rotate. They already know what position they play. They already are specialized in their position. Like
I don't know anyone who plays volleyball. Like if I started talking about volleyball, I can't even go there. I can't even go there without it digressing. And so, not that I think volleyball is cool. I just don't know anyone. If that's interesting.
and try like
It
ask
is a
people
big
like
sport.
the way that people like at a picnic know how to just pepper and play volleyball with each other. Like that's not everywhere. Like when I went to my brother taught in California, right? And he was like coaching volleyball in California. I was like, what the hell? Like these people don't even know how to like, you cannot even serve overhand, and we're like 10, like 11, maybe like the oldest was like 13. And they're like shocked at like how how well I could play already. I'm like, this is crazy. Like I'm like second string, like where I'm from, right now. Like this is
That's
insane to me
interesting.
that.
Well, for me, I think, and I think the statistics are more on my side. I think,
But who like, and maybe, I don't know, but
soccer,
like, okay.
baseball for boys,
Baseball,
That's the thing.
100%.
Soccer for both genders, baseball for boys. Those are the dominant two. And if I had to pick a third one, I think I get it that there are certain geographical regions where certain sports, like there's no ice hockey champions out of Miami, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So volleyball is one more conducive to beach areas, right?
Mhm.
Like San Diego, LA,
hmm
Hawaii. But for that spot, that niche spot, I would pick surfing.
Yeah, but like they're talking about what can I get my kid
Was
a
that part of the
scholarship
question?
for?
People go
Yeah.
scholarship?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
scholarships to mainland. And
Like,
I would turn that
paddled.
around and say I think people on the mainland that like volleyball strive to get a scholarship to UH.
That's
And
what
that's
I'm
why I would
saying.
say
Like,
volleyball is a
UCLA,
big.
UH.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Those
like
are-
when like
is
a
a big
little
sport.
girl growing up in Hawaii, like so many kids I knew like, I want to be a UH Rainbow Wahine when I grow up, like for Hawaii people, like what sport do we flock to go watch? And like we have people who like have season tickets and wear wigs and wave signs. Like that's volleyball at the Stan Sheriff Arena. It's not the basketball team. It's not.
Do you think
the
this
football
unique
team.
because you went to Kamehameha? You
No.
think kids from other high schools feel like volleyball?
Yeah, because my club sport, like it
By
wasn't
the way,
Kamehameha
we
kids.
just
It
like
was
arguing. So thanks for
We
sparking.
always thank you for providing.
Great question.
You
Sports
provide
arguments.
this always.
If you're from Hawaii,
Evan, well.
please leave a comment. Do you feel? I never heard of anyone being so passionate about volleyball.
Oh my God, crazy to me that you don't know that. Like
I'm gonna call somebody right now.
people are so like
We
kids
can
are
call
so
from-
good at volleyball here compared to like other places. Like we just like if you think of like athletes that like we don't have any like NBA players that came out of here, you know, like we don't. Do we have anybody from home? Yeah, we have Natasha, whatever her name was. No, I'm talking about soccer now. What was her name? That local girl. Like
Oh, a lot. Soccer is like D1, right? Yeah.
I can't think of. I could think of
Soccer wasn't even on your list though.
because I don't care about soccer. That's why.
But that's what I'm saying. You're you're heavily biased.
Yeah. But I'm not saying it wouldn't make a list, but that's
list.
not like my list is volleyball, baseball for sure for like all my Japanese cousins. That
What
all
about the
play
other
baseball.
one for women though? What would be the second for women? Because it's not softball. I don't think is that
I don't think softball
soccer,
either.
right?
I guess, yeah. I don't
Tennis kind of big here, huh?
know.
Golf. You know what? We got good
Golf.
golfers.
Yeah, golf is
We got a strong golf culture.
like a weird, like niche thing that Hawaii is good at too.
Yeah, Hawaii is.
You know,
super-
we got like plenty, like
Can I say
hyper
that?
focus. What?
I see. Can I say that?
Why? What?
What you gonna
didn't
say?
even know. I was gonna say like tiger mom kind, Japanese kind. Like,
You can't get us.
hey, why? What? That's me. Like, I had that too. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like you pick a lane and you're like really good at it, and it's
Yeah,
just one
yeah.
of those that
You will play the cello.
yeah. Oh man, we
All
got
right.
this girl who's super good at the violin in our complex now, and I'm like always cracking up because it just like gives me like flashbacks and PTSD of my mom like making me do a thing and practice a thing. Like I see her practicing,
Where you live, that she's practicing violin.
Mhm.
The audacity.
but it's nice though. So at least she's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
because it's small complex. So if it was not good, it should be a much different story.
yeah, yeah.
But
Are there more questions?
One back to real estate, if that's going to be okay.
Let's do it.
but real quick, because it's the same group. Okami Dog did most of core team go to UH.
no,
Nobody.
Nobody,
No.
huh?
No, Aiden.
I did for a little while actually.
I think Aiden went for a minute.
Yeah, he did too. He bored.
Yeah,
he was
that's
not
right.
boarded. Dormed. Dormed is what you call that, right?
Boarded.
See?
Yeah.
Kamehameha.
He was a boarder. He was a boarder at UH for a little while.
That's
I
Yeah.
didn't. I went to Leeward Community College 4 semesters. I got 6 credits.
In 4
I think
semesters?
so.
Oh my gosh.
6 or 9 or something.
Okay.
I don't think 12. Which is like, UH downline.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, I didn't get serious.
UH down.
I didn't get I didn't get my stuff together until a few years later.
Graduated from University of Phoenix online. Literally turned in my final paper the day after my first son was born.
Oh wow.
That was my timeline motivator.
Yeah.
You can't be in school and be a dad at the same time.
I have a 1 8-week class left that the military will still pay for, by the way.
Mhm.
I have 1 8-week class left to get my bachelor's in business from Golden
Nice.
Gate University, but I don't do it. What is it gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not like a
It's
thing
not
that's
gonna do
going to
anything
boost
for me.
anything for you.
And
yeah.
the class is like, I remember how I want to digress,
Yeah.
but I could teach it.
Yeah.
It's a business class I could teach. And I remember our business professor was like, oh, theory. I'm like, he had achieved nothing in business. And in fact, I like strongly disagreed with a couple of things he would teach, but it was like authoritarian. Like you cannot, like I wasn't permitted to have a different point of view.
Right.
You're not going to pass with that. You're not
Yeah,
going to pass the
and-
class with that point of view.
And I was just like, so I don't finish my bachelor's.
Yep.
I used to have business cards that said bachelor's on it because I was like, I got that shit.
We won't talk about age, but when I graduated, there were still some door opener kind things that were like could help if I did it. So I finished and ended up
there's
using
nothing bad
zero
about
of
it.
it.
No, I would have finished for sure if I had gotten my life together. But
Well, let's say
now
that.
I
Though.
have like no, absolutely like no.
Yeah, but you are more intelligent and smart. Like the bachelor's, there's no bearing on your intelligence.
I'm a good student too, is the thing. Like I try really hard in school. Like for all of the courses I did take, I had 4.0 all the time.
Yeah.
But I like had kids and like, it became like that money can be for something else. Like if I had maybe like a different like childhood and a different setup, like maybe I would have been like, thanks, mom and dad. Like I will gladly use your money to go to college, but I didn't. It was like my own money.
Let's talk about your dad. Your dad used to introduce you.
My dad.
And now he introduces you.
Yeah, so funny. He like he's very old fashioned. Like everybody loves Uncle Larry. Like he's a great, but he's stuck in his ways in a lot of things. And I'm the only one of me and my brothers who didn't like finish college. Like I'm sure I did better than both of them. Like in my time there, in my time that I was there, I am definitely the best student out of all of us. Like in high school, all of that, like smartest. I'm just gonna say it. But like I didn't finish, So he'd like, oh yeah, this is my daughter Mahe and like he would just like throw that in there whenever he wants. Oh, she didn't finish college, but she's going to like. Like when she's
gonna go back.
Yeah, she's gonna go
with
back.
The question in his eye. She's gonna finish.
I know he had. I mean, he can claim he's deaf and didn't hear me, but I have told him many times, like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm not going back. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
But he stopped doing that, and now he introduces you how.
This is my daughter. She's so successful. She's so smart. Like. But even my brothers would be like, stop saying that shit, dad. Like I took one of my brothers being like, she like makes more than both of us and we are in student loan debt. So like, like stop introducing her like that. Like, but like local families, a lot of the time, like our parents' generation, they equate college with like,
that's not just local, that's generational.
Generationally.
Baby boomers was like college
like,
equals success.
Equals success, equals you made it.
And now kids want to be YouTubers like us.
And now kids are like, 19 years old, millionaires already. Like and now we have, it just for some people and for some lanes and for some like career paths that you're going to choose. Absolutely. That is the route you should be going and the best. Yeah. It's just not the only. And I think we grew up like being told that that's the only lane. And it's just not, like.
Point to that is Mahe's not the college dropout anymore. She's the successful
I'm not a college
daughter.
I'm not just the college dropout now. Like
so all right, well, you were gonna get us back to real estate?
If I don't know,
here we go.
It's a long way back, but simple question. How is the HOA in Ko Olina for your rental?
Oh, like do you mean price or how is it? Like
there's no price.
Next question.
Next Derek, question. How is the HOA your Ko Olina rental? So go both ways. Give us one answer. Give us how's the service provided and the rules.
Still have to own there.
Yeah.
I don't actually. It hasn't affected me in any adverse way. And the people I bought from were our clients. So they were fine too. But for example, like the HOA president came and was like, "You got to let me in your house to look at the carpet you're putting in." And Robert. He has stuff together. So he's like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have to let you in anywhere. And then, by the way, the minimum was 60 ounce, whatever. We got 80. Like, it's even thicker.
Yeah.
And I know, but I have to check it. I'm the president. And he's like, I'll let you in, but I don't have to. And he did. I wouldn't handle it so diplomatically. It's a resort area with a few, some like families who are like, this is perfect because we're by lagoons and we have a pool and perfect for us families. And then there's other people who are like, I worked my whole life to be here. Stop riding on my sidewalks, and so there's both tribes but what you get for the HOA, I think, is a great value. You get this resort style pool, this resort style setting. You are literally on a resort where your neighbors are the Four Seasons and Disney and Disney Aulani and Marriott Beach Club and Roy's Restaurant and Monkey Pod and a golf course. And so the value for the HOA is there.
But if you're like less compliant.
If you're a person that wants like, bro, my kids should be able to draw chalk on the sidewalk. They're kids. That ain't the place for you. If you're like, well, why can't my car have advertisements all over it? Who cares? Like, I park it on the street. No. Like, that's not the place for you. You need to be okay with that HOA life to live there. I don't live there. Also, I respect the rules. We don't cheat on the 30-day rule. We don't want to allow tenants to make noise, like, are disruptive. So it is what it is. It's a different kind of place. I have multiple friends who either live or have lived in there and they make it work. but and there's a lot of really cool things about living in there. The networking, you'd be at a pool and there's some CEO of some Fortune 500 companies renting in the complex, and you talk with them. And so it's an interesting place. It's definitely a like detachment from reality. But if you're okay with that, you're like, I don't care. I don't need.
Yeah.
I
Not
don't
only
need-
do I not care, that's exactly what I want.
That's exactly what I want. And
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
So we enjoy. Sometimes we'll go there and stay for a few days when there's a vacancy and we want to pay an extra cleaning fee or whatever. You've stayed there. Could you
I
live?
loved it.
You wouldn't live on Ko Olina.
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But it's actually, I mean, like you said, it's like a resort, but it doesn't feel, it's a resort without it being like an irritating resort. Like you're close enough to all that stuff, but you're like not in it. So like, I don't like the Marriott. Like I'll stay at the Marriott and I'll be there, but like the pool's very nice at the complex already. There's jacuzzi over there. There's like pavilion and grills and all of that stuff. It's way more accessible, feels more homey, but it's still very nice and resort feeling with all of the amenities right by. So I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's cool, but it is just super resorty. So
yeah.
I don't think I couldn't like long-term full-time kind
That's
of.
not your vibe.
No.
Yeah. Any more real estate questions in there? If not, we'll go on to some 2024 planning and forecasting.
We are up to date.
Cool. Well, I'm very interested in 2024. I wish I had already bought an investment property in November, December. Still could, but it wouldn't count on this tax year. But interest rates have already eased from the peak, and the rumor and the sentiment is that they will continue to.
Mhm.
So I think that 2024 will be our biggest year ever, because I think the market's going to strengthen going into the summer, maybe even going into the spring.
I feel like going into the spring, I feel like we already have more inbound everything. Like
rates drop quick. Like when rates drop, they tend to drop quick. So if rates were at an all-time high in the 8s, but consistently in the high 6s and 7s, and now they're more low 6s, and we're going to find ourselves in the high 4s to low 5s, and then probably stay there for a very long time, that'll cause a surge in the market.
Mhm.
More people, and people are like, well, why? So more people can qualify.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, for those who could qualify now, who choose to say, well, but I'm payment based. So if my payment's not lower than X, I don't want to buy it.
Mhm.
Well, if you want that house,
Mhm.
you might need to buy it today at a higher payment. Now, maybe we can achieve a 2-1 buy down and do some creative things, but I don't want to be sitting on the sideline if I need to buy a house waiting until this summer. I think that values are going to go up considerably. And even if they went up like 5% in 6 months, which is a lot, there's a lot like that gets talked about. That's a lot. A $1 million house would be $1,050,000. So $1 million house in December and June, July would be $1,050,000. And that's a big difference.
Mhm.
The other part about that is with that quick change, it's not like you can just write an offer on that house and get it either.
Mhm.
You're not going to be able to get it in June, unless we have some inside lane or it's an off-market deal or something. But chances are you're not even going to get a house in June, unless you then do certain things. Like pay more than $1,050,000.
Mhm.
It's worth $1,050,000, but you're going to pay $1,075,000.
Mhm.
Put
Agree to
extra
pay
cash
over
down.
value, like
All that stuff. So
Yeah.
you might as well buy now at the higher rate. So that's how I feel. Now, this is not investment advice. My crystal ball isn't foolproof. Doesn't even exist. I'm just going off of rumors and some recent trends. I think the market's going to be strong. I think we should rest up. Well, it's not like we're slow right now, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that we probably need to bring on another agent
Mhm.
for the spring. So that's another thing. We don't do recruiting calls here too often, but I'm always interviewing, looking, paying attention for another certain person to add to this team. But also I might love you, and I might also still say no, it's not a fit.
Mhm.
Just has to be unique. But yeah, I think the market's going to be strong going into 2024.
Agreed. Already starting to feel it a little bit now with people that we're working with currently. There's few more offers.
You're saying
out on the
offers
table.
due, right?
Yeah.
Got to show
yeah,
today because offers due.
We talked about it a little bit last night offline. I'm specifically going to a showing today because the listing agent said offers are due at 5 o'clock. And that's just not something we've seen much of over the last quarter. Multiple offers we do see, 2 or 3, not 15. And so, but this is the first one I bumped into where it's like, we need to go see this home and give us a few hours. If we decide we really like it and we're going to move forward, we got to get something in by 5 o'clock tonight. And it's only been on the market for 1 weekend. So
It's been a while since it's been like that.
yeah. So they went live on Friday, brokers open on Saturday, open house on Sunday, offers due on Tuesday. That's a 2021 scenario, right?
Mhm.
And so is that normal right now? No, it's a unique scenario, but the movement is there. I think the momentum, the pace is starting to pick up a little bit. And to the payment thing, my thought is your payment going to actually change? Yes, rates affect payment more, and the price going up doesn't necessarily put you back to where you were now, but waiting in the momentum and standing on the side of the river, right?
Yeah, your payment.
It's-
What is that? 50,000, 5% at 4.75, 50,000 more in a loan is around $250 a month.
Give or take.
If you
Yeah.
have to go up to 75 because you have to overbid, that's what, 375.
Because it's not just, oh, the home value is going up 5%. It's also the home value is going up 5%. We're not allowed to ask for any credits or repairs via, during the home inspection.
Right.
We have to spend more cash. It's a lot of like other nuanced things that we just aren't regularly having to put in our contracts right now, that as people start to come off of the sideline, as they tend to once the rates drop, we're just not going to be able to be as discerning and take as much time. And we won't have as many options. It's just numbers. More buyers come off the sideline, more competition,
Less leverage.
just less leverage on the buy side. And also, like if I'm a seller and I've got a 3%, and then I'm going to 8, there's like, oh, hell no, I'm not going to do that. But if I'm a seller, I got a 3%, I have a need of a bigger home or a downsize, and it's 4.5 or 5%, like, sure, let's go to market. I could really see it just starting to feel a lot more like 2021 as the year goes by, and just, I feel like it's going to be a busy year for us.
I think so.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Any new questions?
Yep. A couple questions popping up. Can a non-tenant visitor stay in the unit? I think that's pertaining
For
to
Ko Olina?
Ko Olina.
Can a non-tenant visitor?
You mean like your cousin and they just want to stay for a weekend and you let them
like-
stay and it's not a lease? Like, yeah.
No, like if you own an investment property and anyone other than the owners and their direct family are going to stay in it, it's either supposed to be for a minimum 30-day term. It's been a while since I read the exact verbiage, but it's supposed to be for a 30-day term, or you're staying there with them. So if my
Even
cousins,
if you're not collecting money for it?
yeah, technically. So if my cousins, friends, families, people fly in and want to stay for a week at a time, technically that's fine, even if I'm not monetizing, if I stay with them or my wife stays with them, or so I can't just let it be a new person every single night,
Right.
just because I'm in theory doing it for free.
So
Because
family,
the workaround to that people would do is say, like, pay my market. Like I have an LLC, it's a marketing firm.
Mm.
You go pay that $1,000 and you go stay in my thing for 2 nights or whatever. People would be like, I'm not charging a lease. There's no
Mhm.
lease,
Yeah.
So yeah, if it's anyone other than us, we're supposed to stay there if it's going to be less than 30.
Gotcha.
Or a person can stay for 2 weeks, but you write the lease for 30.
Mhm.
So we've had that too. We've had people rent our place and they're like, we're only going to be there 3 weeks. So like, well, we have to rent it to you for 30. And they
Mhm.
say, okay, well, I'll just sit for a week then.
you have to cancel early. Something changed on your vacation plans.
Yeah.
Right? What's considered a good offer? Do you tell clients to prepare to pay over list? Good question. Looking back, moving forward. And then we'll add to that just to kind of round the conversation. Hawaii will always be seller's market because of island scarcity. And go.
What is a good offer? That is, I mean, I hate that we say this all the time, but it depends. Like it really depends. So it depends on the property, it depends on the neighborhood, it depends on whether or not there's competition, it depends on how many days it's been on market, it depends if the listing agent was super aggressive with like pricing it low, or is the seller kind of out of their mind and it's priced really high. Like what does the seller want? What does the seller need to get? Like there are so many different nuanced questions that need to be answered before we can decide what a strong offer is. So call us and have that discussion with us, because it's a lot deeper and more nuanced than just what is a strong offer. It really, really depends.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep. Then setting the expectation, the second part of that question, do you set your buyer's expectation to pay over list? No, we don't, but we do set expectations, right? We make sure that we do the work. The compliments that I've seen, and I know the group, we even talked about accomplishment and just recognition last week on being clean with the back end. Writing an offer in the right way can be just as strong as the numbers for a listing agent that just looks at it and goes, okay, these people did their homework. They're writing an offer based on due diligence. And so, yeah, the comps, what neighborhood is it in? Is that high demand? Is it a location? Is there a view? All of those things. But so do we set the expectation always to be over list? No. Are we coming into a market to where we might have to set that expectation? Possibly. It just depends on where you're at, the home, the competition, like Mahe is saying. And I think the best answer to that is we will set your expectations to any client that's working with us, whether that's above, below, at, whatever it is, the expectation will be set. You'll know what you're doing before we do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's your decision, right? All the decisions are yours.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, let's just be open here. Sometimes there are situations that Aiden or Mahe or Kenny are handling, and I come in to be kind of the stern, like, look, you're not going to get a house writing under asking offers in this community at this time. It's not going to happen. So we can do that, a handful of times to get market experience and feedback, but it's a kind of a pointless use of time to do that perpetually, unless we're waiting for the next market cycle in a few years that may be down. We're honest, we're honest and forward and transparent. And so if we can get you, and asking is subjective. Some agents are asking too much. Some are asking too little. Some have tried to hit the mark. But if we can get it for under what is listed, then we're going to go for their throat for you. If we can get, anything achieved for you that we can, we want to.
Mm-hmm.
There are also times where we can't. That doesn't mean that we wouldn't have liked to.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to get you the home for $1.
Yeah.
Just the administrative fee for the attorney to, or something like, but that's not the case. And you got to remember that seller, they're trying to capitalize on their investment or
Mm-hmm.
take care of their sick mom or, move on to their next move or whatever. So one thing I can say is that we are skilled, nuanced, thorough, and honest about it. And it just, to Mahi's point, it depends.
Yeah.
It depends.
Got to be a win-win.
Yeah.
We just win a little bit more. Is Hawaii always a seller's market because of the island scarcity?
No, I mean, seller's market. So it depends. I don't think that I'm confident that this person's not defining it the way realtors.
Yeah, not textbook, just
Textbook is 6 months of supply,
Right.
It takes X amount for homes to sell. There are like metrics used to say it is now declared a seller's market. But are there times where buyers have more leverage than sellers? Yes.
Mm.
And that could be like fourth quarter of last year.
Yeah.
In general, buyers had more leverage than sellers if you're trying to sell your home last December or early January.
Yeah.
But Hawaii, more than other places, sellers have more of the leverage more often.
Yeah.
And is the seller is leverage saying you got to give me, I'm going to ask a price and you got to give me more and then you got to name your dog after me. That's how it was in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
But leverage may be that it takes 45 days to sell your home at the price you're trying to achieve. And it's just a neutral transaction. They didn't ask for credits. You didn't give credits. Or
Yeah.
that might be a leverage position for a seller.
Yeah.
The problem
I
with
feel like it has been for a couple of transactions I've been seller's agent on, just like, ooh, just like if it just goes smooth and they don't like
Mhm.
come for us,
yeah.
then it's like, oh yeah, I feel like we won.
Yeah.
So it's not always like the seller gets it, like,
Right.
Yeah.
So
In
if,
that sense,
if a sell, yeah. So if the problem is in 2021, sellers are so entitled at by far the most seller leverage time ever that in late 2022, if a seller, it's like a spoiled brat not getting their way. If a seller
Mhm.
didn't get the world,
Mhm.
they're like,
Yeah.
sometimes, right?
Mhm.
And so, what is leverage? Is it always a seller's market? Hawaii tends to, give more leverage to sellers and more often
Yeah.
than many markets.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like I think the question was scarcity, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're a low supply, high demand, and we won't go out of fashion. So we just have the tendency to, even in a down market, there are still going to be neighborhoods where the seller is going to be able to have the leverage more than in other places.
Yeah.
I agree.
We're good.
What do we think of the new Howard Hughes building in Ward Village?
Launiu, that
Yeah.
one. We think that I'm overdue for my meeting with my contacts there. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about it before I dive deep into
What
it.
did we do? Oh, we went Big Island.
We went Big Island.
And
We were supposed to,
have that party,
our
yeah?
team was supposed to do like a theme and everything.
Yeah.
So call me, get back to me on that. I'd like to I've spent quite a bit of time in Ward and I have very strong opinions about a lot of it. And I want to just know a little bit more. I like to know a little, especially on these new constructions. I like to aggressively research before I start talking about it.
Yeah.
So we'll get back to you on it. But I mean, odds are I'm going to have positive feelings about it because they're
They're
just
nice and bougie.
it's just a nice area.
They're
So
bougie and nice.
they're bad and bougie.
As
So
long as there's no vendor litigation or anything, and insurance issues or anything holding the building up like that,
mhm.
chances are it's
Yeah.
bad and bougie and it's
Chances
nice, right?
are, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, Victoria. Oh, that one's it's beautiful, but that's like sold already, I believe.
Yeah.
So cannot really
Do anything.
do anything with that. That's the crazy thing about Howard Hughes and Ward Village is they can be 100% sold out or like very limited inventory, and you're like, what? And where's the building? Not even there yet.
Yep.
So
Still dirt.
early entry is very a good idea there.
Mhm.
It's just one of those communities it's going to be like 14 buildings total at the end of it. And it's not maybe halfway done. So by the end of everything being built and the end of everything activating, the earlier you get in, the price points are just never going to be as good.
But
It's knock on wood.
one thing about that whole area, right, is the scarcity previously mentioned doesn't exist as much there, unless you have the high floor on the right side of the building. But there's thousands and thousands of units all in those blocks.
Mhm.
And so someone reached out recently, and I gotta get back to him actually, but cool. He was selling in Kaulu,
Mhm.
and there's just nothing that justifies him getting the price that he wants because there's 8 other units identical.
Yeah.
And but if you buy in a cul-de-sac in Kailua, that you're scarce.
Yeah.
You're the
Also,
only one.
too soon. That building just
And too soon.
yeah. So it just hasn't had the time for it to even work for him yet.
Yeah. Well, he had hit it strong on a couple of other new construction plays in Hawaii and Honolulu, and always done well.
Mhm.
But this play not as strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. But too soon. Yeah.
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 Francisco Reyes is asking if we think Ward Village condos could potentially be as popular as Ko Olina as far as value and units go.
Well, there's just so many of them, so I don't think it. I mean,
Yeah. Back to that. They're not as scarce. Ko Olina has a lot of units, but not as many as in Ward. But then on the other hand, Ward is arguably more desirable of a place and as a whole. So if you have if you're talking penthouses, people probably want the penthouse in those buildings. So it's more desirable, but for just your average lower floor unit or whatever, it's you're prepared to hold it for a while because there's 1,000 other units just like you.
To Cliff, Ko Olina is in Kapolei technically, so southwest side of the island. It is not in Turtle Bay.
How you say Kapolei?
Kapolei.
Call you out.
I ran through that a little too quickly. Turtle Bay northeast side, and Ko Olina southwest side. Just answering that question pretty quickly. Robert Smulling, instead of purchasing a renovated home, how about spending $700, $800 and doing some renovations? And if so, what areas would you concentrate in? Looking in? Why and I?
Just depends on where you want to be. $700-800 even for a home that needs work is still kind of low. If I wanted to get a fixer for $700-800, I'm still probably in Eva Mililani, like Kapolei Eva Mililani.
Or else you're spending a lot more because it's in a lot worse condition than you thought it was. So
if it's 800 and if it's 700 and it's in Kailua,
that's not even the land.
I wonder if you can save the house.
Yeah,
maybe not.
You cannot. Yeah,
you know, Hawaii Kai 700. You probably can't even save that. It's the land.
But like not considering price point. Like price point aside, like if there's forced value to be had, like I'm always in the line of like buy the ugliest house in the nicest neighborhood. You know what I mean? As opposed to like if the money is the same and you can put that money into renovations as opposed to just buying the turnkey thing, and you have the time and you have, you know, the period of time to wait for permits to come through and all that stuff. If all those things are okay, then yeah, great. Like pick the ugly house and like force some value into that and reap those benefits, because it's just forced appreciation. Forced appreciation. But
how do you say Kapolei?
Kapolei. That I got. I can speak Hawaii, not English, apparently. I cannot say the English words.
All right. Thank you guys for being with us today. Go to coreteamhawaii.com.
Yes.
Scroll to the bottom. Fill out that contact form. Let's connect. If you have real estate needs, selling or buying in Hawaii, let us know. Even like someone contacted me. I had a conversation with them. I can't do this with every person on earth, but their mom owns a home in Paoa and they live in the Bay, and they're like, we want to keep it, but what if we had to sell it? And we're going to connect mom with lender and try and figure out a way for them to keep it.
Yeah.
And so if you just have real estate needs in general, reach out to us.
Yep.
We'll see you guys on the next one.
And we'll have a different montage on the website by the next one. He already cut me off.